Bipolar Rollers, welcome back. I should be telling myself that because I'm finally back to doing what I love doing most, which is talking to you guys about how best to handle this condition. A lot has happened over the last while. I don't want to get into too many details, though you'll probably hear about a few of them. I have never had a condition that's made me this self-reflective and this analytical on my behavior and the behavior of others. It's really made me look at life completely different. You know, you get to just be more empathetic to the reason why people do certain things, you know, and in the same instance, be completely annoyed that they don't do the things you expect them to do. You know what I mean? Including yourself. You know, it's a push and pull of empathy, and yeah, it's been very interesting. I don't know what you guys have been up to. I would love to hear about it in the comments when you get a chance. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It really makes a difference in the videos. I've reached that point with bipolar, I believe, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this, where you lose interest in certain things. You know, there was just a drop off where I just was embarrassed and ashamed that I couldn't, get a grip on the bipolar. I wasn't following my own advice. I started getting lazy, stopped exercising, stopped eating right, stopped sleeping well. My refusal to, I guess, buckle to the pharmaceutical industry is that wavered. Like I almost honestly considered getting back on medication again. I had to kind of go back in time and review my history and some of the things that I took, some of the things they tried with me, and the side effects, and just weigh the pros and cons. And I decided, if I'm going to do it without medication, I've got to follow my own advice, because that's the only way that's going to work. Every other which way just leads you to self-medicating, or ending up in a hospital or worse, so it's important that you keep an eye on your mental health. As you guys all know, I've been saying it forever, you need somebody that you trust to monitor it as well, because you're not always the best judge of where you're at mentally, emotionally. It pays to have, a second opinion. I've done some really difficult things over the last while. One of them was just completely stick to my boundaries and keep people out of my life that have been chaotic or disastrous, just disrespectful or mean-spirited, maybe just didn't have my best interests at heart. And that's been really tough, because some of them have been people that I love dearly, but I feel like I was bordering on lost for good, and their presence in my life was threatening to push me off the cliff, and they're just not in this space at that particular time to help me. They were, it was hurting me more than anything. So they had to go, and I hope they'll be back someday, but I just couldn't have them in my life at that time, because I needed to be strong, and I needed no malevolence around me, no mean-spirited, no half-truths or full-out lies, none of that stuff. I used to think that whole energy thing was hippy dippy, but for those of us with bipolar, I think that we're really a lot more in tune with the energy coming off people. You know, I think it can be triggering. I think that you just know when certain people or things set off alarm bells at you, or heighten your senses. You got to pay attention to that stuff, whether you're spiritual or not. There's a lot of truth to that. Science has already caught up to that. You know, we can feel that. You know, there's energy all around us, and never has the expression "trust your gut," you know, been more 100% dead on than our understanding these days of how this stuff works. So I've had some interesting adventures. I'm sure you guys have as well. But I felt ashamed to come back here because I'm a practice what you preach type of guy, and I was not practicing what I preached. So I took some time off, really did some reflection, try to make a better life for myself and my loved ones, and inadvertently on bettering yourself, which is always what happens. Somebody with unbelievable energy that matches your own comes along and just improves your life by, well, it's incalculable, whatever, you know. I don't have to have full faculties of my, you know, my mouth, my eyes, my ears. That stuff doesn't have to work for me to know what's real, you know. And what's real is the connection that you can get when you start working on yourself. Now here's the trick, and you don't have to have bipolar to know this one, is when you finally do all the hard work and you get what you want, how do you keep it? Well, the work doesn't stop. That's where I messed up. You know, I got complacent. I got depressed. And I just didn't do the right things to pull me out of the funk. And I know you guys get it. And that's a danger with bipolar. It's a danger because you have to keep your ambitions high. You have to keep your motivation going. And I got mine back because, as you guys know, I'm talking to you men here, you know, nothing gets a guy back on track better and faster than the love of a good woman, you know, because you want to better yourself as a man. When you're with a woman you find amazing, you know, that's not when you dog it, right? So I just realized that expression could have come out. Anyway, no, get that out of your head, guys. Come on, get your heads out of the gutter. What I'm saying to you all right now is that I've gotten my motivation back, and I know what it's like to lose it completely. I was just watching videos today on the statistics, once again, that we as bipolar people are reminded of all the time. 1 in 5 of us isn't going to make it. That's a sad reality, is that out of 5 of us bipolar people, 1 of you is going to decide you don't want to be here anymore. And God, I don't know how I could stress this more. It gets better. It always gets better. You know, it can't rain all the time, and it usually gets better right when you've just passed that part where you just can't take anymore. Things just turn around. It's a yin yang. It's a push pull. It's just what I'm asking is, if you're on this channel or you're checking out this video, you're a bipolar roller. We roll with life. We use our bipolar traits to benefit us. Again, we make bipolar our bitch. So, we're not quitters. Please don't quit. On life, on me, on yourself. Please. Please don't. I recently lost a very close childhood friend just 3 weeks ago. Just under 3 weeks ago. He lost his battle with depression, and I just don't want to see you do to your family, to your loved ones, to your friends. You'd be surprised if you think no one cares about you. You're wrong, I guarantee it. Just don't do that to them. Don't do that to you. The aftermath, it's not what you want to be remembered for. Believe me. And so it hasn't been all sunshine and roses, for sure. I mean, heck, there's been a fair amount of drama too. I had a close friend steal my dog. I have to take her to court now to get it back, because dogs are property in Alberta, not loved ones, not family you grew up with, but just property. Someone just take your dog and you have to take them to court, because the police don't do anything in Alberta. So if you needed one more reason to hate Canada, I'm not gonna lie, our country's turned to shit lately. It's a beautiful place to live. If you can handle the government, it's a beautiful place to live. So I'm all over the place today, you know, if you haven't noticed. I just went through a week of mania not too long ago. It was a lot of sleepless nights. I have a new and wonderful partner that we're working on things together, because she has borderline personality disorder and I have bipolar disorder. And so because we're two people who care deeply about each other, we deeply research our conditions, you know, so that we understand and know how to make these two things work together. You know, if you guys are familiar with some of my older videos, you know my aversion and my fear of borderline personality disorder. It's a tough one for me. I've had some horrible experiences with it, but I had to reflect and realize a lot of people have had some horrible experiences with someone with bipolar, you know, like unmedicated or untreated, or we can be a nightmare. Let's be honest, you know. Yeah, if you care about the relationship, then you got to start caring about yourself. You know, if you want to make it work with them, you got to make it work with you. You know, and so I've learned so much, and I'm looking forward to putting together a video where me and the lovely Jessica can get together on video and talk about our conditions, and get your Q&A and some feedback on what you've done to help make your relationship work with your partner who may or may not have a mental health condition. Right? Lately, the depression got to be a little much. With, you know, when you have a close friend exit your life in that way, you know, due to tragedy like that, it's kind of hard not to sit in a funk for a while. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, and again, if you're a bipolar roller, you know my solution almost always is get the hell outside into nature and do the walking meditation. You know, just look at everything with open eyes, like a newborn, like you're seeing everything for the first time again, and clear your mind. It's my most favorite way to bring me back to where I need to be, a reset, if you will. And I absolutely believe we need it. You know, it's just not a good idea to not have that. If you have a mental health condition, I think it should be mandatory. You know, so much. There's so much I want to catch you guys up on. But I want to know more about what's been going on with you guys. I've missed doing these videos for you guys. And like I was saying before, I lost the desire to do it. I felt ashamed that I just wasn't, a guy who runs a bipolar disorder channel should probably have a bit more of a grip on his condition. And for a while, I fell right into, the same state that a lot of you guys that write to me have been in for a while. Just you kind of know what you need to do, but just doing it and doing it consistently is how it works, and that's where we drop the ball sometimes. So I'm really happy to be back, and I'm really happy to see you guys, and I can't wait to hear from you. As always, you can still message me at MINDEVICE73@gmail.com for advice or to talk about the channel, and if you want to book a slot, because I would love to talk to others with bipolar, or if you have a condition that you'd be curious to do a comparison video on with bipolar, and we can talk about the different challenges that we all face. Because let's be honest here, who doesn't have a mental health condition these days? Honestly, anyone could be diagnosed. It's sad but true. Based on stress levels these days, it's like putting way too much weight on something that just can't handle it. And our springs shoot in different ways, Mine went the bipolar route. This lovely lady, borderline. That squirrel there, schizophrenia. Oh, way to go. Nice. Anyway, it's good seeing you guys. I hope to do more videos very soon. In fact, I'd expect one this week. Stay tuned for that. You're going to watch for that? I hope you do. We're going to get back to enjoying nature. So, have yourselves a better than wonderful day. And Bipolar Rollers represent.